This morning, while most people were paying attention to whatever the hell Donald Trump decided to tweet today, the U.S. government, specifically U.S. attorneys in New York, did something incredibly positive for the United States. This morning, U.S. Attorney in New York filed a lawsuit against J.P. Morgan Chase Bank for housing discrimination against African Americans and people of color. Now, what J.P. Morgan did, according to this lawsuit, was anytime, a black person came in, wanted to get a loan for a home, statistically, side by side, they would charge the people of color a much higher interest rate than they would white people. That is expressly against the law. The U.S. Fair Housing Act and Equal Credit Opportunity Act expressly forbids that practice. J.P. Morgan knew that. They know the law. And they said, to hell with it. We're going to charge these people who we think won't even be able to pay it more money than we charge white people. And what happened as a result? Exactly what J.P. Morgan wanted to happen. These people who were paying these astronomical mortgage rates ended up losing their homes because they could not afford to continue paying as these interest rates went up and up and up. They did nothing wrong. They were profiled because of their race. Had they been given the same opportunity, the same interest rates that the bank was giving to white people, there would have been no problem. The bank still would have made money, and these people would have kept their homes, kept their livelihood going. And instead, J.P. Morgan did this intentionally, knowing that these people would end up defaulting on their home loans, and then J.P. Morgan could come in, scoop up that home as a foreclosure, sell it for a massive profit. And do you know when this took place? 2006 to 2009, during the mortgage crisis. This was actually one of the driving forces of the mortgage meltdown in the United States, when banks like J.P. Morgan decided that for some reason, they don't like people of color. We're going to make them pay more because we know they're not going to be able to. Then we take their houses, we make a ton of money. Who's with me on this? That is the mentality of a U.S. Wall Street bank today. And do you know why they still have that mentality? Because they keep getting away with it. And that's why this lawsuit brought by the U.S. Attorney in New York is such a positive thing. It's time for these bankers to pay. And I don't mean financially. People need to go to prison. That's what happens to the rest of the general population when you break the law. You go to jail. So I would love to see this attorney say, you know what, we're going to forego monetary damages. This isn't a civil case anymore. This is a criminal case. We're going to put people on trial, and hopefully we're going to put people in jail. That's what we need to see from this lawsuit. That's what needs to happen. Because until we put a banker behind bars, until we put them in a striped jumpsuit on a chain gang, they're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again.